I'm kind of all over the place. I get different inspiration from a lot of things. One thing that's consistent in all of my work is my love of color, and specifically saturated color. I've been working with collage a lot and pairing it with not only oil paint, which is my favorite paint medium, but also pastel. Sometimes I'll use collage in the background of a pastel drawing too.
So have you always kind of had this creative spark? Were you an artistic child?
Yeah, you know, like when you're a kid and they ask you what you want to be when you grow up, the most common things were veterinarian because I liked animals. Once it was MSU cheerleader. I'm not much of a cheerleader, so I don't know what that was all about. And an artist. So yeah, I stayed pretty true to that.
With all the materials or the techniques that you use, how do you decide which medium to use with which piece? And does maybe the medium influence the message of the art at all?
Oh yeah, that's a good way of describing it. I'll think of different color schemes or different materials, and they can evoke different ideas. In grad school, I learned a technique called rust transfer, which was a way of printmaking, but like using rust. But I would make these rust transfers and I saw them as kind of a way of showing decay. And for me, that was a connection with bones and fossils. So I did a lot of work that related around that, where sometimes they were a little bit more macabre, where I was thinking about the inside of bodies or decay or, you know, things like that. And then on the other side, I would be like, oh, I need my bright colors. So I'd have fun little ones, like all those examples of my pugs that would be like two bodies of work going on at the same time. And then I think in like 2012, I wanted to try to marry those ideas of the bold colors and the sort of more macabre ideas together. So that's when I started a series called It's a Fact, which was about fun facts about animals. And that idea actually started from a Snapple cap. You know, the Snapple caps always have some sort of weird information on the inside. And the fact was, there's owls on every continent except for Antarctica. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. So like that little thing started a whole series of work for me.
So can you maybe walk us through, you kind of just did, but your creative process from a concept to the finished product?
I spent a lot of time in my head thinking about it and visualizing it and collecting references and looking at images online and looking through my own photographs and taking photographs and kind of coming up with some sort of theme. And then from there, it's just like, okay, now I can start putting these things together, and I sketch out different compositions and decide what format it's going to be, decide what medium it's going to be, what materials I'm going to use, and then I just go for it. How I've been using collage, because it's been pretty important in my work since grad school. And this is just one of the ways that I turn this contour line drawing into a collage by tracing the shapes with some vine charcoal, trying to be as accurate as I can. And then I take the paper and just try to line it up over that shape. It's like I have this really tight piece of paper. There we go. Then I just kind of rub it. Sometimes I use my brayer. Just kind of make sure that I'm transferring that line onto the back. And you can see it on the back there, and then I will just kind of cut it out. Some people like to use X-Acto knives. I have always been better with scissors. So that's the process of cutting them out. Like normally I would have all the paper picked out and I would be cutting all of the little pieces, but I've done that already on another one, so I'll show you the next step.
How do you balance being both an artist and an educator? Obviously you're an independent artist, but you also work at KVCC. Do you feel like those roles ever influence each other?
Absolutely. I feel like professors should be a professional in their field as well. So I try to model that and be a working artist so that my students can see what that looks like. Now, I mean, I don't like put myself out there too much because I have the full-time job of teaching, and I also have a family and all of the things. Creating my art is just one aspect of my professional life, but I definitely see it as a union of me modeling what a professional artist looks like for my students and then encouraging them to do some of the same things, and I think that just goes well together. So I have in the more advanced classes, I'll have an assignment near the end of the semester where they kind of get to come up with their own ideas. But I also have an advanced painting class, which is the semester right now, where I have my students come up with their own goals, they have their own ideas, and I help guide them on the start of a body of work. So that's kind of a place where I get to really coach students on how to come up with their own ideas.
With all the different directions your work has taken over the past few years, what's the most exciting thing on the horizon for you? Like any upcoming projects or exhibitions? I know you illustrated a children's book not too long ago.
I definitely think this new body of work that's right behind us here is what I'm the most excited about. I haven't worked this big in a long time. And this is a companion series, so I'm thinking about like Mother Earth and having female figures kind of represent nature, and then they're paired with a flower or a plant and then a pollinator. So this one will be with peonies and ants.
So I guess tell us a bit more about this piece specifically. It looks like both collage and oil painting. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The flowers are collaged. This early spring or late spring, early summer, when all of my peonies were blooming, I was going outside on a regular basis and taking pictures of all of my flowers at different stages. The model here, her name is Jasmine. She was one of my neighbors. She's moved recently. But I asked her to come over and we took pictures with all of my flowers around her, and then I looked through all of my photo references, did some sketches, and got going on it. Where you hope things line up right. I like to tell my Painting 1 students that all paintings go through a stage of suck. Where you want to quit, but if you quit, then you're just going to get to the stage of suck over and over and over. So for me, like the beginning of a painting, the first layer of fat paint is usually the part I hate the most, where I just sit there and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this part. And then I'm done with it for the day and I'm like, I don't like it. But then I come back the next day and I rework it. And then finally I get onto the end where it's the details, where I really am more excited about the details, because then that's pulling it all together and you get to see like the vision come to life. But I like the way it looks, so we're gonna see how it goes. Okay. These pieces first.
Have there been any moments or specific projects that you can think of that have been, what you feel like would be transformative in your career? Have you ever had any crazy breakthroughs?
I think really for me with my artwork, it's been my use of collage. Because at first I think that I felt like that was kind of an easy way of blocking things in to like, oh, pick this whole piece of paper to make this space. But just because it is easy to me doesn't mean that it's easy to everybody. And I started to let go of that idea And then I was also reminded of Henry Matisse, who used a lot of collage in his artwork. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of following a tradition of, fine artist. So it's not really, cheating or, making it easier. It's actually more complicated than that because I'm cutting out a lot of shapes and putting a puzzle together.
Yeah.
So I think that has been, because I've really have grabbed hold of that idea, and like my most recent body of work that I finished on the sleeping babies, I've had a solo show. I've gotten that piece into the KIA West Michigan area show, the Muskegon Museum of Art contemporary show, and now it got me a show in at Olivet University of Olivet in the end of January. So that use of collage and line work and rendering with paint has opened up a lot of opportunities for me.
Be sure to find us on YouTube and Instagram. Exclusive videos, extended content, and behind-the-scenes pictures. Just search Kalamazoo Lively Arts.